What I saw inside was sickening. I dragged the blade across the tape, my hands shaking as I did. My head was pounding with anxiety, and the thought that it could be a bomb completely missed me. What I saw inside was sickening. Prosthetics. Makeup prosthetics, the type you see actors wear in movies. I recognized that face. It was the old lady. Someone had been pretending to be an old lady, slowly gaining the trust of the officers at the station throughout those 6 months, just to take their lives. That same night, I didn't rest a second. I brought the box down to the station and stayed there all night. 6 weeks later, nothing had come up. Yesterday, a man was brought into the station after chasing down an old lady with a knife. I was asked to interrogate the man, and did so, walking into the room and almost being pushed out the door by the stench. The room smelt like gasoline urine and burned flesh. The man, however, sat there, his arms crossed on the table and his head submerged in them. I walked back out, closing the door behind me, and asked the other officers about the man. They told me they were unable to identify him due to the fact he had burned his fingerprints off and most of his face. When they tried to check dental records, they realized the man had no teeth. He was a ghost, completely non-existent if not for the fact he sat in the next room over, waiting for me. I took a deep, shaky breath in and walked back into the room, the smell now being familiar, but just as repulsive. The sound of the heavy door slamming shut didn't seem to startle the man. He looked like a mannequin. I sat down and introduced myself. I was expecting and slightly hoping for no response from the man, until he slowly lifted his head up as if it was painful for him, and I tried so hard to hide my utter disgust. The little flesh he had still clinging onto his skull in charred, leathery layers was severely burned, 3rd degree, and the little hair he had clung to his cranium in patches going down in thin, black, and oily strands. He had to have done this himself. I believe body integrity dysphoria is what it's called. He was wearing a purple turtleneck with rips and slashes all over it, not to mention what looked like dried bloodstains scattered all throughout it. I asked the man if he knew why I was talking to him, barely being able to focus on my own words, as his soulless eyes looked back into mine. He smiled, revealing his toothless gums, and let out a soft, windy giggle. As I asked again, his laugh grew louder and louder, until I lost my composure and banged on the cold metal table. I've never let my emotions get the best of me, but at this point, I was shaking. I'll never forget the words he spoke in that same soft and windy voice.
Did you get my package?